Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're going to be looking into the Chinese four-wheeler Predator swap. This is going to be part one of the build, the initial just kind of sizing stuff up, kind of taking looks at different things that might be a problem when putting the Predator in. Also, we're going to look at the chain size. I have a piece of chain over there, 40 chain, just to make sure that fits the rear sprocket so that I can get the correct centrifugal clutch for the Predator. Also going to look into the rear brakes and the front brakes and lubricate some components that are super squeaky. And also I might bolt on the rear rack just to see how that looks. So I'm going to get you guys in a little bit closer and we'll take a look at this machine. Set you guys about there. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button right now. As we're going to be doing this build, I want you guys to see the upcoming videos and also click on the bell for notifications. You'll see every time we upload. So we're going to hop right into it. Here's the rear rack for this machine. I think it bolts on something like this, but it looks like it's kind of bent, unless maybe it's supposed to be slanted like that. I don't think it goes like this. Maybe I'll bend it out a little bit, but it does get mounted right here. So it kind of looks something like that. But at least this machine is like a bare frame, which is super nice to work with. I'm thinking for the engine mounting, it's pretty flat down here. And it should be just chain around this swing arm area here, if you guys can see that. And then here is a choke cable, and then the throttle cable is right here, which would be perfect. I think that'll go right onto the Predator. And you can use a thumb throttle on that, as long as we have to put a bigger return spring on the throttle arm, but that's not a big deal. The seat is just kind of sitting on here right now. So I'll pull this rear rack off of the seat. So at least it has a partial seat, which is good. But I'll put you guys around this side. You can see a little bit better. But like I was saying, here's the choke. Does work. I might hook that up. But I think the Predator is just an arm choke, which is just fine to use by your hand. There is a mounting bracket for the motor here and here. I don't think we'll be using that because the Predator is going to get mounted on the 4 bolts on the bottom of the engine. So I'm thinking I'm going to put angle iron, 2 pieces across this frame here, and drill 4 holes in it. I'll line up the motor. And I might have to end up sawing this bracket out for the motor to clear, because I'm going to probably put it in the back. I would say not as far as I can, but I'll try to center it in the middle because I don't want to use so much chain. Then I don't need to put a big tensioner or something in here. And I want to keep the front end on the ground, so I don't want to have it way in the back, that all the weight's in the back, and it wants to do that. So I don't know how strong the rear ends are on these things. Hopefully it can hold up to the Predator. A Predator's not that powerful. It's 6.5 horse. With a centrifugal clutch, it's not like it's going to be a torque converter. So it should just move it pretty well. And this machine is super light and rolls pretty good. Just needs a little bit of lubricant. I think the brakes are a little bit hung up right now in the front on the drums. So that's what we're going to dive into as well. I'm going to pull the master cylinder cover off the rear brakes. The rear brake is just a single disc with the caliper for the rear axle. I didn't check on the rear end. The rear end's tight. There's no bearing play or anything. And I'll show you guys the chain that I have. I have a chunk of, I believe this is 40 chain, just like a standard go-kart chain. And it does fit on the rear sprocket. So I believe we can use the 40 chain centrifugal clutch, which will be good. So I'll be able to get the Predator motor. I'll probably just buy one brand new, unless I can find one used on Facebook Marketplace for cheaper than $100 or $80, wherever it is with the coupon at Harbor Freight. But I'll just buy a brand new one otherwise if I can't find one. And we'll put the motor in. But I'm thinking, yeah, just angle iron brackets down here. If I had a piece laying around, I would show you guys what I mean. But very simple design. I'll just put some weld, clean the metal up here, weld the brackets in, and then I'll just make sure they're the right distance. And then drill 4 holes so I can bolt the engine down, and that should be secure enough. And the tank on the Predator, I'll just move up to the top here, or I'll use the plastic gas tank that it came with. I think I have it over here. I'll quickly grab that. I think this is the gas tank that's supposed to be on there. Yeah. So something like that. Maybe I'll even just use this little gas tank, and that'll look even better. I do have the plastics for this machine, but I think it would look cooler as like a rat rod without the plastics. I think it would just be cooler. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead, get some tools. We're going to lubricate this brakes in the front, the cables and stuff, and we're going to check out the rear brakes and see what those have in store. And that'll be it for this part one. And then I'm going to get the Predator motor, hopefully within the next couple days or the weekend, if you guys are watching this at the time of the video. And we will be mocking up the motor and chain and clutch assemblies and stuff like that. I think we might have to move the engine, you know, slightly off to the right side of the Predator, a little bit off to the right side of the machine, just for the clutch to line up with the axle. So that might be a little bit of a conflict because it's pretty narrow in there. So that might be a little bit of an issue. It almost looks like the frame is like offside a little bit too, kind of crooked like. Hopefully that's not a problem, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. But I know we're going to have to probably move the motor over that way a little bit just to get the clutch to line up. Or we'll flip the clutch backwards and we'll put it on inside out. So the gear will be on the inside and the clutch part will be on the outside. I'm pretty sure you can do that and it won't be any issue. The gas tank, we'll figure that out. We'll either use this tank or we'll unbolt the Predator tank. I'll make some mounts and we'll mount it on top and use that tank. So, alright guys, let's dive into the brakes. I'm just going to go ahead and spray some lubricant spray up on these cables and down in the cables. Kind of lube up the, yep. If they do work. So that is good. Awesome. I'll move it back a little bit so you guys can see. Make sure I got you in the shot. That's better. Apologize for the birds in the background, guys. I mean, there's so many birds around here. It's kind of making me a little annoyed. I'll get you guys in a little bit closer. You guys can see what I'm doing over here on the brake lever. This is for the front drum brakes. It's a little bit better. They're both moving, so that is good. The grips will have to do something about all that tape on there. Throttle still works and it's moving down there, so that's good. The rear brake, you see just a little bit sticky. There's a brake sensor on there too. I'm going to pull this master cylinder cover off if we can get it out without stripping it, and we'll see what condition the fluid is in, and maybe we'll see if we can get everything loose. Oh boy, that's bad. Bad news bears, guys. I just touched the master cylinder little bubble thing where you check the fluid, and I'll show you guys what happened. So right here, I put my finger right through that. So it was sitting outside for a while, and I'm thinking it's just rotted out and the cheap material finally gave out. So it's safe to say if we want rear brakes, we're going to need a new master cylinder, just this whole assembly, which I can get on eBay for dirt cheap. So that'll be in a different, maybe after we get the motor in, because at least we got the front brakes for now. So the rear brakes will have to wait because we just ruined that. I just touched it, guys. It didn't even like give me much resistance. I just went bang and it blew apart. So that is the halt on the rear brakes. But yeah, that's kind of going to be it for this video. I just wanted to introduce it to you guys, give you guys an idea of what I have in mind. We'll do more when we get the motor here, and we'll start welding up and fabricating engine mount brackets, and we might have to saw off that top motor mount for the old motor. The old motor is actually just over here a little ways. It's a 50cc automatic, I believe, is what they put in these. So hopefully we'll put a little bit of wind in these tires yet too. This one here's pretty low, so we'll get some wind in the tires yet, and make sure the axle is aligned and everything like that. I think it is. It looks pretty tight. I'm just hoping that maybe this chain tensioning thing here, the slider isn't even, because I can see the axle looks kind of crooked. So maybe, I don't know, maybe if you guys can see this, but you guys can see the axle. Maybe you can't see it very good in the camera, but it's kind of cocked in the rear end there. So I'm going to have to loosen those adjusters and just kind of straighten it out because I don't want the chain to run crooked and then it'll just jump the chain all the time. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you are excited for the Predator build, leave a comment down below. Leave a like on the video if you guys are enjoying. Subscribe to the channel once again if you guys haven't already. Stay tuned for the upcoming parts to this build. Very excited for this build. I think it will go well. I'm hoping everything will work out as I plan it. Alright guys, I just wanted to throw this quick clip in the first part of the build. I do have a brand new Predator engine right here, guys. I just picked it up from Harbor Freight this morning. I got a used slip clutch from FDRC once again. He hooked me up with a clutch. So make sure once again to go check his channel out. I'll leave a link in the description. But I'm going to try to get the tank off and we'll do some shifting around and seeing how it's going to fit and what we have to do to fit it in there. So just want to throw this clip in as a little bonus clip, and we'll be continuing on in part 2. But we do have a motor and a clutch, and we'll get some chain and we'll start working from there. So stay tuned, guys, for part 2. Peace.